Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Saw this, and I think it's just worth 3-4 minutes to react to. Did you see on Wednesday, Jon Gruden, remember Gruden, Grudenator, YX banana Z question mark, whatever it was. Jon Gruden really kind of did his first public sit down since getting fired in the NFL 3 years ago. Okay. And by the way, if you're an old school listener of this show, when we were on podcast before we were even on video, we talked a lot about this at the time. I thought the Jon Gruden firing was a total sham. I believe it was an inside job. Somebody in the NFL had thousands and tens of thousands of emails, and yet somehow Jon Gruden's are the only ones that got leaked. Listen, I don't think what he said was necessarily the right thing to say. I don't think it's something you should say privately, publicly, in an email, whatever. But when the NFL has tens of thousands of emails, only Jon Gruden's happen to get leaked. And oh, by the way, you had they were leaked one day by one outlet and one day by another outlet. I believe it was New York Times and Wall Street Journal. It was clear that somebody was trying to put Jon Gruden out of his misery with the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, I bring it up because for the first time in about 3 years, Jon Gruden did a sit-down interview with Brent Marcello I think it's Brent Marcello, whatever, Brandon Marcello, maybe it is, of CBS Sports, where he was kind of very transparent. He's like, look, I've been out for 2, 3, 4 years. I'm ready to get back in. And I thought what was interesting was he said that he would be interested in coaching college football as well. Now, admittedly, that's not really that surprising. He's suing the NFL. Don't tend to think that when you're suing a company that you're necessarily up for employment with said company. But here was the quote that he said. And this was from CBS Sports on Wednesday. This is Jon Gruden. He said, yeah, I'm interested in coaching. My dad was a college coach. I was a college coach at Pitt. My wife was a cheerleader at Tennessee when I met her. Hell yeah, I'm interested in coaching. I know I can help a team. I know I can help young players get better. And I know I can hire a good staff. And that's the only thing I can guarantee. But yeah, I'm very interested in coaching at any level, period. That was Jon Gruden talking to CBS, and I'll be quick on this because I want to get to Aaron Right, Aaron Wrong, and get out of here. But what I would say about that quote and about this interview is this. I've been doing this media thing for a long time, okay? Now, admittedly, I have sources. People reach out to me, especially when they're out of coaching. How do I get back in? What do I do? This, that, the other thing. But the one thing that I have learned through all my years of being in the media is that nothing is by accident. Everything is intentional. And I was thinking about that as it pertained to this Jon Gruden story. Because I was thinking, why now? Like, why would Jon Gruden right now decide to do a sit-down interview talking about his job future? And oh, by the way, specifically with a college sports reporter, right? I mean, no disrespect to Brandon Marcello, but I mean, he could do this interview with whoever, Dan Patrick. He could do it with Colin Cowherd. He could do it with, I'm just trying to think, Pat McAfee. He could do it with any of the biggest names in media. So why with CBS Sports, a college reporter at this time? One, I think he did it in a written form so that listen, this is just my opinion, no disrespect to the reporter, that he can kind of control the narrative. He can kind of get the message out that he wants. If he just agrees to 15 minutes with Colin Cowherd, Colin's going to dictate the questions, this, that, the other thing. But what was also interesting, they did the interview from Jon Gruden's home in Tampa, Florida. And so again, the question, why now? Why is Jon Gruden, after 3 years out of the public eye, deciding to do an interview with CBS Sports and a college reporter? One, as he said, I think he's trying to get a college head coaching job. And I'll be transparent. Maybe this is conspiracy Torres, overstepping his bounds, whatever. I think my man, Jon Gruden, is angling for the Florida job. Okay, now I don't know if he's a candidate. I don't think there are candidates, to be honest, because transparently, it's a job that isn't going to open for a while now. And as we've discussed many times, even if it opens, Florida's got to figure out who's their school president. Are they firing the AD? And as I've said a million times, I believe that realistically, when you see these reports, the board of directors is meeting, this, that, the other thing, to me, that speaks more to, I kind of wonder if the board of directors is getting ready to fire Scott Strickland, the AD, so they can get in a new AD, so the AD can make a search in November into December. At the same time, we've talked about it. There's not a lot of good candidates out there for Florida. We've discussed it. Lane Kiffin is the best candidate, but Lane Kiffin is not going to be available potentially until the end of December if Ole Miss makes the college football playoff. So if Lane Kiffin's not available, you got to figure out a plan B because he might not be available until 2 weeks after National Signing Day. You can't not have a coach in place. By the way, Lane Kiffin isn't going to accept the job while his team is coaching in the playoff. Beyond that, Urban Meyer, I saw the report. He said that ship has sailed. I'll be transparent. I talked to some people close to Urban Meyer. I don't know Urban personally, but I know enough people around him. They said he is not getting back into college football, not right now. 60 years old. The health probably isn't there to grind the way that you need to grind. And so you start looking at candidates. There's not a lot of good ones. I think there's something there to Jon Gruden putting this report out at this specific time with a college reporter. And remember, he lives in Tampa. Not a geography expert, although I did win the 5th grade geography bee, fun fact. But Tampa, under 2 hours from Gainesville. I'm sure behind the scenes, he's starting to pull strings. And the thing with Gruden, like Gruden isn't coming back, no disrespect, to coach Appalachian State or whoever, I don't know, Central Michigan. Central Michigan, by the way, former Florida coach coaching there as well. He's coming back for a big boy job. And so I don't know if he's a candidate. I don't think Florida really has candidates right now because they need to figure out their AD situation first. But I also just don't think that it is a total coincidence that in the middle of the season, right after, by the way, Billy Napier happens to lose a game that is absolutely crushing for his future, because I think that A&M game made it official. He ain't getting this thing turned around. They're probably not winning 6 games, almost certainly not winning 6 games to get bowl eligible. He is not keeping this job. So just something to think about. I don't think it's crazy. Don't know if he'll get the job. But why does that interview come out right now? I think it's because Jon Gruden, I think he wants that Florida football coaching job.